and we could go for 2 and then tie the game up. Trent Taylor, of all people, gets wide open on the conversion, and all of a sudden, this game is tied, and it was 21-3. Welcome to the jungle, Bengals fans. I'm Kyle Phelps, and Bengals going to the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go! From 4-11-1 to the Super Bowl in only 1 year is just what? Before we get into breaking down the Cincinnati Bengals' absolutely massive AFC Championship victory, I'd just like to ask that you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. It really helps my channel out and helps you to be the first to know when we put out these Bengal recaps after games. Last one of the season's coming out in 2 weeks. Can you believe it? Also, Bengals previews that we do before each of these games with our excellent team of correspondents. NFL coverage after the conclusion of each NFL week, and Battle of Ohio podcast clips on the off days. Oh boy, do y'all understand how huge it is that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to the fucking Super Bowl? Why don't we ask the crowd at Arrowhead? This team was 4-11-1 last year and 2-14 the year before that. Marvin Lewis just got fired 3 years ago after they went 6-10, 7-9, and 6-9-1 each of the 3 years prior to his firing. We had the number 1 overall pick in last year's draft and the number 5 overall pick in this year's draft. Then we went out and we took a huge chance on a young, unproven head coach in Zach Taylor after we fired Marvin Lewis, who had only been an offensive coordinator for 1 year at the NFL level before getting let go with the rest of Joe Philbin's staff at the end of the year. This Bengals team is truly that kind of rare, quick, special success story that you rarely ever see on this level at the NFL. And to do that, they had to put together a rare, special game. Don't forget that we were down 21-3 at one point, guys. Seriously, go watch my reaction video that I put out this morning from my live stream of the game. I was losing my damn mind in kind of a different way throughout the whole first half. The Bengals got the ball first, which is never a good sign because they always do so well with getting the ball first in the second half. You know, first drive, they went 3 and out, and, you know, Joe Mixon could not establish the run at all on first down. They kept trying, and that kind of becomes a theme, by the way. But they barely got anything done on the first 2 downs. They ended up on 3rd and 5. And this also becomes a theme, by the way. But hey, Kevin Huber had one of his best days of, you know, the recent memory punting, by the way. So that, at the time, was at least, you know, something to be encouraged about. What was not encouraging was this defense. You want to talk about themes. How about Jerick McKinnon running the ball for 7 or 8 yards on every single first down? That shit kept happening through the entire first half. I mean, hell, the first play of the second half was a 6-yard run by McKinnon up the middle. That and the Bengals defense dared the Chiefs to beat them by matriculating the ball down the field, which they did just fine. The Bengals defense couldn't stop a damn thing. At one point, Mecole Hardman beat Chidobe Awuzie for a 44-yard catch on the final play of the first quarter. And speaking of Awuzie, he had an awful first half. He got burned by Tyreek Hill for the opening touchdown of the game. And to be fair, that was a great pass by Mahomes to put it in the corner of the end zone, but you tend to expect a better showing from Cheeto in those situations, at least the way he's played this year. I had Dallas fans who were on the live stream with me who were like, this is the Cheeto we remember. We did not remember that guy who's been balling out for y'all this year. This is what we expected to see. But for the most part, no play went more than 11 yards in the first half. But it didn't matter. The Chiefs just kept eating up those yards, and they scored 3 touchdowns in their first 3 drives, and the Bengals ended up down 21-3, and it was just feeling dark, and it was bad, guys. And I'm not going to lie, the offense was obnoxious in the first half too. They were never as bad as that first drive again, but they still had the tendency to drive all the way down the field, just to settle for a field goal or a punt from the Chiefs' 41-yard line. It was starting to feel a lot like the Titans game, where they could get some yards, but they couldn't get any points on the board, except the offensive line was playing a lot better. The problem was none of the Bengals' weapons could get open at all, which was honestly the last thing you expected going into this game, with all the talent the Bengals have in the receiving corps, and the, quite honestly, lack of talent that the Chiefs have in their secondary. I gotta say though, the way that they finished the first half was a huge momentum swing. After going down, like I said, 21-3 with 5 minutes left in the first half, Joe Burrow started finding Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Samaje Perine, of all people. And you know what? Perine gave them a 41-yard touchdown, shaking multiple defenders in front of him in the process. There's still a lot of work to do at this point, and you're still giving the ball back to the guy who tied the game up last week against the Bills with 13 seconds left. And in this case, they have 1 minute and 5 seconds with 2 timeouts left, but at least you have some momentum. Do y'all remember back in week 4 when the Bengals were getting slaughtered by the Jaguars in the first half, and they got a goal line stand at the end of the half to keep it a 2-score game? You know, I know the Chiefs might be a little bit better than Urban Meyer's Jaguars, but that's what that last Bengals defensive drive of the first half kind of felt like they were, setting up for. Mahomes started slinging it all over the field again and again, and was helped a little bit with an Eli Apple pass interference to get the ball in the red zone with, 13 seconds left. And by the way, don't come in here talking like the refs screwed the Chiefs during this game, you salty-ass Chiefs fans who are acting just as salty as the last time. My God, I have never seen a sore loser fan base in my entire life before. That's twice this year that we beat your asses fair and square, and you do nothing but dismiss it, talk about their false losses that don't count, and you cry about whatever you can to justify your bias. And I'm getting sick of these Chiefs fans, man. They're acting like, we didn't do anything to deserve this game, and they were the only team that had any, shut up. The fact of the matter is there was no pass interference on that ball because it was an uncatchable ball. He threw it way out deep in the end zone. And at the point Eli Apple was getting a little handsy, it was long before the pass had even gotten off. So, maybe you call it holding there, but not pass interference. But whatever. Next play, incomplete pass. 5 seconds left on the clock. Nice. All right, we held them to a field goal. That's awesome. It's only going to be 14 points. We came back from 14, like I said, against the Jaguars. These kind of deficits are things that the Bengals are used to coming back from. But, it would have been nice if we could have held them to nothing. And there's no way they try to go for a touchdown here, right? They're not going to risk coming away with no points, right? Especially not with the way that the momentum's kind of starting to swing a little bit in the Bengals' favor here, right? Oh shit, they are. Patrick Mahomes lines up for the attempt and drains the last seconds of the half off the clock, figuring out where the hell he's going to put the ball. He does find Tyreek Hill in a situation where Tyreek Hill normally scores, in what appears to be a great position to sprint in the end zone. Except that dude that I keep telling y'all about, Eli Apple, is right there to stop him in his tracks. Making up for that earlier interference penalty, which I already said wasn't even a penalty in the first place, and holding the Chiefs to 0 points on the final drive of the first half. And you know what that turned it into? That turned it into an 11-point deficit. And you know what the Bengals overcame last time they played the Chiefs? An 11-point deficit at the half. We're still in the third quarter right now, so if the defense just keeps playing the way they've been playing, and they can get another stop, get the ball back to the offense, and this is a ball game. And boy, step up they did. McKinnon got another one of his signature 7-yard runs on first down, and then B.J. Hill intercepted after batting a pass from Patrick Mahomes, and he came down with that big boy interception. I got asked during my live stream what my favorite play from the game was, and I think that one, without a doubt, was it. This was the play, if there was one play in the entire game where I started realizing that the Bengals actually are, not just could, actually are going to come back and win this game, that, without a doubt, was it. I'm not saying I wasn't nervous until the game was over because, I've seen too much shit in my life as a Bengals fan, and I was like, oh my God, the entire time, but seeing that fatception was what really got me going. And you know what? That's when the offense finally started to perform well in the red zone. Joe Mixon, 5 yards. Jamar Chase, 17 yards. Mixon again, 3 yards. And then Chase finished it off with a 2-yard touchdown catch. So it's 21-19 now. And we could go for 2 and then tie the game up. Trent Taylor, of all people, gets wide open on the conversion. And all of a sudden, this game is tied. And it was 21-3. Defense holds the Chiefs on the next drive to a 3-and-out. That's awesome. Then Joe Burrow throws the first interception of the postseason that was actually his fault. And actually an interception. So that's not awesome. Then the Bengals defense forces a punt right back. That's awesome. Now here's the thing. Joe Burrow doesn't make the same mistake twice. And boy, he didn't either. He struggled to find open receivers on the upcoming drive, but he kept rehashing the drive and keeping it alive with his legs. He figured out a way to do that. He kept sliding. He kept getting those first downs. It was like Patrick Mahomes came and played for the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh my God, what a game, dude. Unfortunately, the drive stalled out, and they had to settle for a 52-yard attempt by Evan McPherson there. And he's money, so it's all good, but I'm not going to lie, that ball sailed really close to being wide left. But he did convert it, and that's what's important. So now suddenly the Bengals control this game with a 24-21 lead. Once again, I would like to remind you that this football game was 21-3. Problem is, you're giving Patrick Mahomes the ball back with like 6 minutes left. And at some point, you can't just keep relying on this defense to make big stops, right? You know, I mean, sort of. It's like, remember earlier when I said all the talking heads said the Bengals can't expect to hold the Chiefs to 3 points in the second half again? Well, you know, the defense, they bent, but they didn't break. Unfortunately, the Chiefs managed to run the clock all the way down and on their 6-minute drive that they put together, and Harrison Butker did cap things off with a game-tying 44-yard field goal, and that sent things to overtime. So now, you know, all those nerves are coming right back. And oh God, overtime against Patrick Mahomes. You remember what happened to the Bills, right? And even worse, the Chiefs won the coin toss. And it's like I said, I've already seen this movie before, man. We're going to have to sit through another week of hearing about everyone bitching about the overtime rules constantly, aren't we? But, nope. Touchback, incompletion, dropped interception by Eli Apple. Completed interception by Von Bell, returning the ball back to the Bengals' 45-yard line. See, overtime coin flip doesn't have to be a death sentence. You just got to play defense, man. And the Bengals played defense. Oh my God, they have to win this now, right? That's basically what happened against the Titans. Key interception on the final drive, giving Joe Burrow a short field to work with and set up for Evan McPherson's field goal range. Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon, they were not to be denied, man. It took 3 plays to get into Evan McPherson's field goal range. So that pretty much sealed it. Joe Mixon did attempt another run that didn't really help much, and Joe Burrow ended up taking all that yardage back when he quarterback sneaked for a loss. And I think the whole idea was to set up Evan McPherson as preferred hash mark, because that's the second time in 2 weeks that he's done that, which is weird. You know, you got a 31-yard chip shot, but it could have been a 29-yard chip shot. So like I said, 31-yard chip shot for the Super Bowl. The kick is up, and of course it's good, baby. Did you expect anything less from Money Mac, Legatron, Shooter McPherson, the baby-faced Messiah, the man who caused the Bengals Pro Shop to sell out of both kicker jerseys and custom jerseys at the end of last week? I'm going to be so hyped if this lowly 5th-round draft pick that the Bengals got absolutely slaughtered for taking ends up kicking the game winner in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Can you imagine? I know I can, man. But you know what? That's going to do it for this week's recap. So let me know what you guys thought about the game in the comments below. And I'll make sure to feature the best ones in my next recap video. Like this one from Arthur Swanner, who said, Money Mac turns punts into points. Hooday! And I felt it was incomplete, the pass to P. Ryan. I'm telling y'all, don't sleep on the value of kickers, baby. The best ones are often the highest scoring members of any football team throughout their career. And yeah, on the other note, Arthur, I kind of agree with you on that interception last week. At the time, I felt like you could really call it either way and you'd probably be right. But the fact of the matter is, if the ball touches the ground before you make a football move, it's supposed to be not a catch, right? If Hooker caught that, then Dez caught it too. So, yeah, it's just my humble opinion, but the more I think about it, the more I don't think that it should have been ruled an interception. Not that it ended up mattering because we won the game anyway, but it does put a little bit of a black mark on Joe's stats for that game. But like I said, that's going to do it for me this week, guys. You can always catch more of what I do at KylePhelps92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps, my written work at ATBNetwork.com/Cincinnati Bengals, the Battle of Ohio podcast, which is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and right here if you subscribe. I'm going to say it one more time, baby. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. I'll leave y'all, as always, with a hootie!